So, hi everyone. Welcome to another Zoom meeting, another podcast episode. If you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, you can find out more about our online community, these gatherings, paid private mentoring with myself on the website. It's www.acimwithkeith.com. Right, let's get on with things. Let's dive into A Course in Miracles. This is from chapter 8, it's section 3, and it's paragraph 5. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. Let's read that again. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, which means it doesn't matter if it's Buddha or Krishna or Jesus or whoever you choose, Eckhart Tolle, it doesn't matter. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. So, primary message of A Course in Miracles is the separation never happened. There's only oneness. There's only non-duality. There's only not two. All there is oneness. So this is saying the goal of the curriculum is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek but what you are, because what you are is all that is. Know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. Note, it's not saying know God. Nope, know thyself. There's nothing else to seek. So to continue, everyone is looking for himself and for the power and glory he thinks he has lost, because what you are is the oneness of God, but you think you're something that doesn't exist. And now you scrape and seek and resist and seek and do not find for your whole life, grasping at things, commercialism, special relationships, desperately trying to claw back some semblance of the peace that you know is true, but you just can't access because you don't know what you are. Whenever you are with anyone, you have an opportunity, another opportunity to find them, what you've lost. Your power and glory are in him because they are yours, in your brother. Because there's only oneness. Oneness is appearing as a dream of multiplicity and diversity. One is appearing as many without ever ceasing to be one. So your power and glory are in your brother because they are yours. You are the same oneness. The ego tries to find them in yourself alone because it does not know where to look. This is such a trap on spiritual paths to go meditating for years and to go into a spaced out place in your mind where you're going, oh, behold my holiness, which is something different to what everyone else is. I've accomplished something no one else has accomplished. I'm special. Look what I found inside me. And the Course is going, that's an illusion. Anything you can only find in yourself that isn't shining in your brother is a dream. You've made it up. It's thoughts, it's delusion. Only what is the truth of you and your brother is true. If you can't see that in your brother, it's only because you can't see it in yourself. The ego tries to find them in yourself alone. Your holiness, your innocence, your specialness. You, the holy miracle worker, the holy enlightened one. All dreams. If it's not the truth of your brother as well, it's not the truth. Because that's not oneness. That's the dream of duality. The Holy Spirit teaches you that if you look only at yourself, you cannot find yourself because that is not what you are. You're not a separate self. You're not a body with a story. You're not the insane voice talking to itself in your mind that pretends to be you. That's not what you are. If you look only in yourself, you cannot find yourself. That's an illusion. The personality, the separate self, made of thoughts, made of identification with thoughts. That's not you. That's not what you are. You are what your brother is. There's no such thing as separateness. Whenever you are with a brother, you are learning what you are because you are teaching what you are. So, what the Course is saying is, as it says in another part of the Course, as you see him, you will see yourself. What you teach, in other words, what you see of a brother as the truth of him, what you are telling his mind that he is, you're also telling your own mind that that's what you are. So when we have an awakening and we start talking about other people's egos, that means we've gone back into ego. See, there's only egos from the point of view of the ego. There's only spirit from the perspective of spirit. So he will respond either with pain or joy, depending on which teacher you are following, the teacher of separateness or the teacher of shared identity, the ego or the Holy Spirit. He will be imprisoned or released according to your decision, and so will you. Never forget your responsibility to him, because it is your responsibility to yourself. Give him his place in the kingdom, and you will have yours. You don't have your place in the kingdom until everyone else is there with you in your mind. If there's one person not there with you, you're not in the kingdom. It's all or nothing. Either everyone is an ego and damned, or everyone is spirit and saved. So you first make the decision about what you are, and then you will see the world as you have seen yourself. So this is from chapter 9, section 1, paragraph 2. Your will is not the ego's, the separate self, the voice of separateness and specialness, the voice of seeking and resisting and clawing and grasping and special love and special hate. Pretty much the voice you've always called me, which has nothing to do with you. Your will is not the ego's. And that is why the ego is against you. What seems to be the fear of God is really the fear of your own reality. So remember, know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. This is all about knowing your reality. It just so happens it's automatically everyone else's reality. Because there's only one reality. And even if it's appearing as a dream of death, it's still reality. And it's here. What seems to be the fear of God is really the fear of your own reality, because what God is isn't what you are. God is your true self. So you see, there's only one capital S self. There's only one reality. By knowing yourself, there's nothing else to know because there's only one. That means understanding that the personality, the creature of time, the body identity that you think you are isn't what you are. The reason for the curriculum is that you don't know what you are. What you think you are is an illusion, a dream figure. And the goal of the curriculum is to know what you really are, but it's also what everything really is. It is impossible to learn anything consistently in a state of panic. If the purpose of this course is to help you remember what you are, and if you believe that what you are is fearful, then it must follow that you will not learn this course. Yet the reason for the course is that you do not know what you are. So remember when the course says to us, there is no statement the world is more afraid to hear than this: I do not know the thing I am. That's a powerful acknowledgement. It acknowledges that everything I think I am is a dream, and I have to let that go to discover the truth, to know myself. The capital S self, that is all, that everything is. I'm going to have to let go of my specialness, this delusion that I'm a piece that's different than all the other pieces, and not the whole that's appearing as everything. So this is from chapter 31, section 5, and it's paragraph 8. A concept of the self is meaningless. Now, let me say this. Everything in the dream has a rudimentary sense of self. Flowers, plants have a rudimentary, very basic sense of self. They'll fight with each other over light and stuff like that. Okay? They'll compete for light. So there's a rudimentary sense of self, which is the nature of the dream. And that's not the problem. You know, when it was time for dinner, Jesus' disciples called him and said, Hey, Jesus, dinner's ready. And he acknowledged his name and went, Oh, cool. Thank you. I'll be right there. See, without a rudimentary sense of self, how would you know anyone's talking to you or respond? And when he went to eat his dinner, he knew to put the food in his own mouth and not someone else's. Because there is this sense of self. That's not the problem. That's perfectly fine. That will always be there. No, the problem is the self concept. The problem is the psychological sense of self. The self with a past and future made out of thoughts. The self reflective thoughts. The story of the me, the unhappy me, the innocent victim me. This is the psychological self. This is where all the problem is. Not with that rudimentary sense of self. The problem is that because there's a rudimentary sense of self, there's a belief that there really is a separate self, but there's not. There is one awareness here, and it's appearing as senses of selves without ever ceasing to be one awareness, shared identity. The one dreamer as the truth of all the dream figures. Problem is the belief that because there's a sense of a self, that means there really is an ego. There really is a separate self here that's separate and apart from everything else. So that's the illusion, the self concept, the psychological identity, the insane voice talking to itself. Flowers don't have that. So it's the self concept. Ultimately, the course is training you to know yourself as awareness, the awareness that's appearing as everything, and to share that identity with everyone, because that's what everyone really is awareness, beingness. But when you get involved in thoughts and you manufacture a story about who you are with your victimized past and your scary future and your poor me story and your resistance and your seeking and your grasping and your little hates and your little loves, that's the problem. Getting involved in thoughts, making a self up that doesn't exist, pure fiction, pure imagination. Everything you think you are, that's not awareness, is purely your imagination. It exists only in your mind. And everything you think everyone else is, that's not awareness, that's also in your mind, because that's not what they are. That's not what's here. You don't yet know yourself, but that's what the curriculum is for, to know yourself. But what you are is what everything is, or you don't know yourself. You don't know the capital S self. Okay. This is chapter 31, section 5, paragraph 8. A concept of the self is meaningless. In other words, everything you think you are, all your concepts about what you are, don't mean anything. That's your dream. It is the cause of all your pain, but it doesn't mean anything. It's complete fiction. So a concept of the self is your self-image. What you think yourself to be is meaningless because it doesn't exist. It's a fiction. Maybe you believe it. That doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it what you are. For no one here can see what it is for, this concept of the self, and therefore cannot picture what it is. Yet is all learning that the world directs begun and ended with the single aim of teaching you this concept of yourself, your self-image, your self-concept, the me, that you will choose to follow this world's laws and never seek to go beyond its roads, nor realize the way you see yourself. So, this me that you believe yourself to be that's different than everyone else, its purpose is to stop you remembering what you really are, which is what everyone really is. Now must the Holy Spirit find a way to help you see this concept of the self, the me, must be undone. This specialness, this separate self, this ego. If any peace of mind is to be given you, and nor can it be unlearned except by lessons aimed to teach that you are something else. It's all too human that course students read A Course in Miracles. They go, this is all fabulous. The me is going to go out. It's going to be a miracle worker. It's going to be a course teacher. It's going to be doing miracles. It's going to be fabulous. I'm going to be such a holy me, such a holy ego. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be amazing. And everyone is like encouraging everyone else. Oh, we all got to be miracle workers. That's not what's here. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. What's the purification? You have to get rid of your false self. Let's get rid of the me delusion. I mean, I'm not saying you have to kill it because it doesn't exist, but you've got to stop believing in it. You have to slip out of your dreams. No one wants to do that because this is icky and sticky and not so pleasant because we got to sit with all our own emotional garbage of sin, guilt, and fear without blaming anyone else for it. No one wants to do that. Everyone wants to be a miracle worker ego. Fabulous. That's what we're all supposed to do. And of course, miracles are supposed to go out and be miracle workers, fiddle with illusions. That's what this is all about. No, 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 no. No, it's not. You're not a miracle worker until you share an identity. Not a spaced out meditation-y place in your mind that you're imagining with thoughts. That's delusion. Not you thinking you're in some holy place that's different than everyone else. That's separation. That's imagination. That's the spiritualized ego. No. A miracle worker is someone who recognizes his brother as himself. Capital S self. Shared interest. Shared identity. One capital S self as the truth of everything and everyone. The forms, the broken pieces seem to take me nothing, for the whole is in each one, and every aspect of the Son of God is just the same as every other part. Now we can talk about miracle workers. All right. But we can't talk about the miracle working to the me. The me is mad for miracle working. Anything except actually doing the forgiveness work. Anything except face its own shadow. Confront its own dream. No way. Let's go out and be miracle workers. That's what this is all about. But the one who wants to work miracles doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's a delusion in your mind. You're imagining it. It's a self-concept of you, the you that stands apart from everything else. That's either holier than everything else or unholier than everything else. Because the ego is not fussy. The ego just wants to be different and special. If it can't be especially good or especially holy, the ego is quite happy to be especially unholy and especially bad. But degrees don't make sense because what are you comparing yourself to? Because there's only one capital S self. There's only shared identity, which is pure awareness, unbound awareness, unbound by thought, unbound by concepts. So let's take a few more quotes. So this is chapter 4, section 1, paragraph 4. You dream of a separated ego. It's called me. And you believe in a world that rests upon it. Because there is no world. There is one awareness appearing as everything, and it's still just one awareness. That's what's here. That's the real world. That's what's already here. The forms, the broken pieces seem to take me nothing, for the whole is in each one. That which is appearing as everything is what your brother is. That which is appearing as everything and everyone is what you are. That which is appearing as everything and everyone is what's appearing as a grain of sand. The whole is in each apparently broken piece because there's no broken pieces. There is one indivisible whole appearing as a movie of broken pieces with no effect on the movie screen. I can show a movie of broken pieces on a movie screen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The screen doesn't get broken by it. So this idea of broken pieces, separate pieces, that's an illusion. They're just images. But their only reality is the movie screen, awareness. It doesn't matter who you're looking at. That's the awareness that's appearing as everything. See, there's only one capital S self. And A Course in Miracles uses the symbol of the Holy Spirit for this capital S self. The ego is the me, the psychological self, the innocent victim, good in an evil world. It's your imagination. It has no reality outside of your thoughts. If you consider for a moment the person that you think you are, what happens to that person when you stop thinking about it? Really go in there and find out. The me, all my goods and my bads and what I've been through, my terrible past, my frightened future, good in an evil world. And what happens to all that when you stop thinking about it? It doesn't exist because it's only thoughts. When thoughts stop, there is no separate you. It's a story happening in you awareness. And you forget yourself as awareness and you identify with a story and go, oh, I am this story and I'm separate from all the other stories. No, you're not, because everything is awareness. You. You are what everything is. You're not in the world. The world is arising in you. Awareness. Not you, the me, because that doesn't exist. That's a fiction. That's a story, which has nothing to do with what you are. No story, no me. Only what is everything. Only alive, awake, non-conceptually intelligent nothingness that is everything. Because that's what spirit is. Has nothing to do with name or form. So if you're going to know yourself, which is the goal of the curriculum, you have to discover what you are beyond name and form. You dream of a separated ego, name and form, body with a story, innocent victim, good in an evil world, the unhappy me. And you believe in a world that rests upon it. Because all that's here is awareness. That's all that's here. Awareness. Awareness, worlding, and never ceasing to be itself. And you are that awareness. That awake nothing. That is everything. That's appearing as everything without ever ceasing to be itself. That's what you are. Right now, in this moment. Not in your imagination, but that's what truth is. And it's already here. Except you're believing thoughts. Once you awareness attack yourself, go in and identify with thoughts and build up a story of what you are, a self-concept. Now you must look out at the awareness that's you appearing as everything, and you don't see that anymore. Now you have to make up a self-concept for everything else. All the separate ones, the good ones and the bad ones and the right ones and the wrong ones and the ones I special love and the ones I special hate. They don't exist. One awareness is the truth of everyone. Everything else is your imagination. It's your private world, populated by shadow figures, like the Course puts it. Because there's only one identity here. The Course says, how do you recognize your brother? You recognize your brother by seeing the Holy Spirit in him, the self that's all. If you see an ego in him, a separate self, something apart from what you are, that just means you have made up a self concept and are pretending it's true, and have made up a concept for someone else and pretending that's true, and you're living your life as though both these characters are true when neither of them is true. You dream of a separated ego. So this is not yourself. The goal of the curriculum is know yourself, but you're dreaming about a me, a separated ego, and you believe in a world that rests upon it. Because once you awareness attack yourself to identify as an ego, you look out at the awareness that's you everywhere and you attack it again to see it as other egos. So this is your dream. So to continue the quote, if you are willing to renounce the role of guardian of your thought system and open it to me, Holy Spirit, the capital S self, awareness, I will correct it very gently and lead you back to God, your true self. From chapter 4, section 1, paragraph 4. So, keeping on this theme that first of all, you, unbound awareness, attack yourself to identify with thoughts and make up a story about what you are, a self concept, and then you do that to the rest of the world, and then you live in an imaginary world of self and other, which is hell, which is the dream, which is the course. The course is here to wake you up from that dream. How many course students want to start from understanding everything I think I am is a lie? I do not know the thing I am. Everyone wants to rush out to stay the thing they think they are and turn it into a holy ego miracle worker, which is absolutely fine. But if you really want to do a Course in Miracles, you have to understand that that's not how you do a Course in Miracles. People may get a lot out of that. There's a lot of people that are never going to be able to, who don't want to wake up and who are not going to want to wake up in this lifetime. And so for them to follow A Course in Miracles as though it's talking about what you do as the imaginary separate self for other separate selves, that might be very helpful to them. Because all things work together for good. And there's no exceptions except in the ego's judgment. But that's not how you do A Course in Miracles. That's stuff to do in a dream. Diversions in the dream state. Things to distract yourself in the dream state. Course in Miracles is about waking up from the dream. Course in Miracles is about knowing yourself. The sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. Why is that the sole responsibility of the miracle worker to accept atonement for himself, to know what he is? Because when you know what you are, it is automatically revealed as the truth of everything and everyone else. Otherwise, it's still a dream. You're still believing thoughts. So, chapter 4, section 2, paragraph 2. Everyone makes an ego or a self for himself. Here you go. Out of thoughts. Because what you are is unbound, unconditioned awareness. The awareness, that's everything. That's what you already are. But when you go into thoughts, you identify with thoughts, what the Course calls the wild illusion, frantic and distraught with no reality whatsoever. When you think that the insane voice talking to itself in your mind, judging everything and labeling everything and having talks to itself about everything and running a monologue about everything, when you think that's you and you identify with it, ego FM, and you call it me, you've made up an ego for yourself because there's nobody thinking those thoughts. So when you go, I'm thinking those thoughts, you believe you're something that doesn't exist because nothing is thinking those thoughts. They're a wild illusion. They don't mean anything. We're told that as early as lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 52. I have no private thoughts. What are private thoughts? Private thoughts are thoughts arising on behalf of an imaginary separate self, a me. My past, my pain, my suffering, my journey, my spirituality. What about me? Those are self reflective thoughts. They're private thoughts. And apparently, private me, a ghost that lives in a body, is having its own thoughts that nobody else knows about. And it is an entity that's separate and apart from everything else. That's imagination. That's not there. That's not what you are. That's a dream. And a dream is a story the mind tells, believed. All stories are happening in awareness. When you believe the mind's story, you forget your awareness and you go in and imagine yourself the story character in the story. But that character doesn't exist because there's only shared identity, there's only awareness. Everyone makes an ego or a self for himself, which is subject to enormous variation because of its instability. If you walk down the street and someone goes, God, you lost a few pounds, you're looking great, you'll whistle and you'll have a jaunt in your step. You're like, I'm a good self. I like the self that I am. Life is good. See? But if someone insults you on the street, treats you like dirt, oh, it's a whole different story then. You're like, nobody ever gets me. Oh, people are always bad to me. It's terrible. I'm very misunderstood. Very hard to be me, the poor me, the unhappy me, the innocent victim. See? So, how could that self be true when it keeps changing? Only the unchanging is true. The reason the self you think you are keeps changing is because it's made out of thoughts and nothing else. It's just imagination. Because you see, I can imagine, I can use thoughts, and I can imagine a penguin in my mind. See? And right now I can imagine like a happy clappy penguin. Penguin's here. It's very happy. It's all great. Life is good. I can see that in my mind. Happy clappy penguin. Happy clappy penguin. But now I can imagine a really grumpy, angry penguin that's growling at everyone. I don't know if penguins growl, but this one does because it's my imagination. He's growling at everyone. He's pushing all the other penguins into the sea. All right. He's taking all their food. Right. This is in my mind. Right. Now, neither penguin is true. And your thought about what you are, your self image, is exactly like those penguins. It isn't true. It's thoughts. Your me is exactly like those penguins. Completely untrue. A believed thought. So as long as you think you're a penguin, You can't know yourself. You're going to have to learn that you're not a penguin, a me, a collection of thoughts in your mind that you're saying, no, that's my story. No, it's not. You don't have a story. So their interaction is a process that alters both the self I've made up for myself and the self I've made up for you, instead of knowing we're both present moment awareness. So the interaction of the penguin I've made up for myself and the penguin I've made up for you, and I've called one penguin me and one penguin you, are just thoughts. And the interaction is a process that alters both penguins because they're not made by or with the unalterable. So your idea of what you are and your idea of what your brother is are constantly changing. Why? Because they're ideas. They're penguins. They're not real. None of them. So this alteration can and does occur as readily when the interaction takes place in the mind, because the whole thing is in your mind, as when it involves physical proximity. Thinking about another ego, penguin, is as effective in changing relative perception as is physical interaction. There could be no better example that the ego, separate selves, is only an idea and not a fact. Know thyself. There is nothing else to know. You have to let go of your penguin. You're me. You're going to have to find a way to stop identifying with a story that has nothing to do with you, a penguin. And you have to stop seeing all your brothers as penguins that are equally in your mind. Lesson 93. Why would you not be overjoyed to be assured that all the evil that you think you did was never done? That all your sins are nothing? That you are as pure and holy as you were created? Remember, we're talking about know thyself. This is yourself. And that light and joy and peace abide in you, the self that you are. Your image of yourself, this is the me, this is the penguin that you've made up with stories, memories, feelings, emotions, beliefs, and you just all squelch them all together into your penguin. The image of yourself you hold in your mind and call me. Your image of yourself, the penguin you think you are, cannot withstand the will of God. You think that this is death, but it's life. Because the penguin isn't real and is the cause of all your suffering and lack. But it's just an idea, an image. It's nothing. You think you are destroyed because you thought you were a penguin, but you're not. You think you are destroyed, but you're saved. You think this is death, but it's life. The self you made out of thoughts. Again, what happens to the me when you stop thinking about it? It doesn't exist. It's a persistent story, a myth. The self you made is not the Son of God. Therefore, this self does not exist at all. You have to be thinking about it to make it seem like it exists, even though it never exists. And anything it seems to do and think means nothing. It is neither bad nor good, the penguin that you think you are, the image in your mind, your self concept, nor the self concept, the penguins you've made up for everyone else. None of them are real. So that penguin in your mind, it doesn't matter what it seems to be thinking or saying or doing. It's unreal. Nothing more than that. It's a bunch of thoughts. Does not battle with the Son of God. Now that's what you are. Know thyself. does not hurt him, the self that you are, that everyone is, nor attack his peace. It has not changed creation, this penguin in your mind, called me, nor reduced eternal sinlessness to sin and love to hate. What power can this self you made possess when it would contradict the will of God? That there's separateness, that there's specialness, that there's more than one. Okay, chapter 28, section 4, paragraph 9. I thank you, Father, knowing you will come to close each little gap that lies between the broken pieces of your holy Son. One Son, one awareness. Your holiness, complete and perfect, lies in every one of them, and they are joined because what is in one is in them all. How holy is the smallest grain of sand when it is recognized as being part of the completed picture of God's Son. Because how many sons are there? One, appearing as a world and never ceasing to be one. Non-duality appearing as duality, but never ceasing to be non-duality. There's the movie screen appearing as the movie of broken pieces, but none of it has any power over the movie. And no matter which broken piece, which movie character you're looking at, the only reality of every movie character is the screen that's appearing as all movie characters. The only truth of any dream figure is the one dreamer. The forms the broken pieces seem to take mean nothing. That's the dream. But the whole, the movie screen that's appearing as everything, is the only truth of every single movie character. Every aspect of the Son of God is just the same as every other part. They are awareness. Not a penguin. Join not your brother's dreams that he's a penguin, an image in his mind that he calls me that's different to everyone else. But join with him your awareness, and he's the same awareness you are. There's just one movie screen. Millions of cartoon characters all appearing on one movie screen. The only truth of every cartoon character is the movie screen. The only truth of every cartoon character is the movie screen that's appearing as all cartoon characters. The whole is in each one. There are no separate selves. There are no dream figures. There's an appearance of dream figures. But that's just an appearance of the movie screen. Awareness, beingness, presence. That's the movie screen. Doesn't matter what it appears at. Its only reality is presence. And you're it. Except there's no you. There's it, this. You are what this is. You are what is appearing as everything. But always itself. Always one. Except you think you're a penguin. Chapter 23, paragraph 1. Sorry, section 1, paragraph 10. You who are beloved of him, God, are no illusion, being as true and holy as himself. I've included this quote because people regularly say to me, oh, we're illusions. We're not real, which is the classic error of identifying yourself with something that's completely unreal and then saying that you're unreal. So first you identify as the penguin that you've made up in your mind, the story of me, the unhappy me, the innocent victim. So you identify as the penguin, then you go, oh, the penguin isn't real. Penguin doesn't really exist. Yeah, but you're not a penguin. Your awareness. You're not an illusion. The penguin is an illusion. Your story of who you are in your mind is an illusion. Everything thoughts are saying on behalf of an imaginary penguin are an illusion, but you're not an illusion. Know thyself. There is nothing else to know. You're not a penguin. You who are beloved of him are no illusion, being as true and holy as himself. The stillness of your certainty of him and of yourself is home to both of you who dwell as one and not apart. The Course is saying your brother is what you are, and you are what God is. There's only one. Dwell as one and not apart. So in the dream state, our way out is to see our brother as ourself, capital S self. And then the awakening completely from the dream state is knowing God is yourself. So in chapter 14, the Course says the first in time means nothing, but the first in eternity is God the Father, who is both first and one. Beyond the first, there is no other. There's no penguins. For there is no order, no second or third, and nothing but the first. God is your capital S self. Creation is God's extension of God. Therefore, your truth is God. Now, you think you've made up a self, a me, a penguin. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. So the penguin doesn't get to be God. The me doesn't get to be God. When the me goes, all that's left is God, which is all that was ever here. Again, chapter 14, section 14, this time paragraph 4. He created you out of himself. God made you out of God, but still within him, within God. God created you out of God, but still within God. He knows what you mean, obviously. Remember that there's no second to him. So you, the me, the penguin, won't be going back to God because you are already what God is. You're just not the penguin that you think you are. But there's no penguins going back to heaven because there was never any penguins to start with. Lesson 132. Release the world, which means stop making it real. Stop making judgments about it. Stop pulling and pushing on it. Stop seeking and resisting in it. It's a dream. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares his fatherhood with you, who are his son, for he makes no distinctions in what is himself and what is still himself. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end and the Son begin as something separate from him. So everything you think you are that's not God is a lie. There's no penguin. That's why in lesson 328, the Course says, I choose the second place to gain the first. God's creation was created to know itself as God, because there's no such thing as duality in reality, only God. Now, there's a dream going on that you are a penguin, something different, special, apart, a body with a story. So that was you usurping the power of God over what you are. You were created by God to be God, because the extension of God is still God. That's reality. That's the nature of creation. That's the truth of creation. There's only God extending himself, and that's what's true. But you have usurped the power of God. You've taken on the mantle of creator of yourself, and you've made up a story about a penguin, a me, an image in your mind about a me that you are. So you have put yourself in first place. You've said, I'm not what God says I am, which is God. I am what I say I am, which is a penguin, a me, a self image, a story. So lesson 328 is going, no, 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 stop choosing the first place and saying you're a penguin. Choose the second place and discover what you are, which is the one, which is what God is. Chapter 21, section 8, paragraph 5. What is the holy instant but God's appeal to you to recognize what he has given you, what you are? Here is the great appeal to reason, the awareness of what is always there to see, the happiness that could be always yours. Here is the constant peace you could experience forever. Here is what denial has denied revealed to you. For here the final question is already answered, and what you ask, forgiven. Here is the future now, for time is powerless because of your desire for what will never change. So your me, the penguin you've made up out of thoughts in your mind, that picture you hold about who you are, the innocent victim, the unhappy me, good in an evil world penguin, constantly changing. It's a happy penguin, it's an unhappy penguin, it's a confident penguin, it's a penguin that lacks self-worth. That's constantly changing because it's thoughts, it's not reality. So in order to know ourselves, we have to desire only to know what's not changing. And to know what is not changing as the truth of what I am and the truth of what everyone is, the unchanging. The Course says your brother has a changelessness in him beyond appearance and deception, both. The appearance is the body, and the deception is your thoughts about what he is, a penguin, instead of knowing he is what doesn't change, pure awareness. All right, so if you want to know what you are, you have to see what you are as the truth of your brother. Otherwise, if you're looking only inside yourself, it's a separate self. If your identity isn't shared, it's a dream. It's separateness. It's not true. It's thought identification. So this is very important in chapter 13, section 6, paragraph 5. The miracle enables you to see your brother without his past and so perceive him as born again. Fact is, your brother is the awareness that's appearing as everything. The awareness doesn't have a past. You are projecting a past onto your brother. You are projecting a past onto him, but you're also projecting your past, all your prejudices, all your likes and dislikes, all your beliefs about what good penguins should be and what bad penguins are. So you're just projecting your whole story of penguins onto your brother and seeing him as a creature of time with a past and a future. But all that's in your imagination because there's only now, except in thoughts. And thoughts are the dream world. Miracle enables you to see your brother without a past. Now, if you see me right now with no past, which means no past for this particular penguin, no stories in your mind about this penguin's past, and none of your penguin likes and dislikes, the things you think are good and bad and people should do and they shouldn't do, and the good people do this and the bad people. What happens if you see me without any of those stories? All you can know me as is unchanging presence. And you must know me as this to learn it of yourself. To realize the stories the mind is spinning in your mind, the matrix, because the whole dream is made out of those believed stories the mind keeps spinning. That you're a body and you're a separate self and you have a past and you have a victimized past and a scary future and that you're this kind of a penguin and there's bad penguins out there and penguins shouldn't do any of this. That's all made up. So the way you discover what you are that is storylessness, that has the course says atonement can be equated with total escape from the past. Who are you without your story about who you are? All of which is about the past. Who are you with a total escape from the past? Who is your brother when he is a total escape from all your thoughts about what he is, all of which are from the past? Atonement can be equated with a total escape from the past and a total lack of interest in the future. Heaven is here, the now. There is nowhere else. Heaven is here, there's nowhere else. Heaven is now, there's no other time. No teaching that does not lead to this is of concern to God's teachers. This isn't about you being a holy penguin, doing fabulous things for your brother, who's a very sick penguin. And everyone's like, you're such a holy penguin. You're like, I know he was a sick penguin. I've done this magic, holy stuff. I'm fabulous. I'm a miracle worker penguin. The whole thing's great. No, that's a dream. There's no penguins. There's no me. And that's obvious. If you're not thinking about the me, it doesn't exist. If you're not thinking the me into existence, it's not there. Now, when you are thinking the me into existence and hearing there's no me, it sounds like death. Right? But when you stop thinking the me into existence, you realize how could it be death? There's no me there. It's a story. All that's here is awareness. What am I when I stop believing all the stories about what I am? All that's left is awareness. That's not death. That's life. Know thyself. There's nothing else to know. That's not death. Realizing there's no me isn't death. It's life. But it's what everything is with you. That's the real world. Everything else is dreams. His errors are all past because the past is not here. And by perceiving him without them, errors, past, you are releasing him. He is awareness. The awareness that is appearing as everything and everyone. And since his past is yours, you share in this release. If you're pretending there are creatures with pasts, that applies to you and your brother. If you realize, but hang on a minute, my brother doesn't really have a past, you have to realize neither do I. All that's here is freedom already. Everything else was stories, believed thoughts. Let no dark cloud out of your past. And listen to this. Let no dark cloud out of your past obscure him, the awareness that is everything, your brother, from you. Because if you're seeing your brother with a past, that's your thoughts projected onto him, not his. If you weren't projecting thoughts onto your brother, you could only know him as present moment awareness. That's all your brother is when your thoughts stop, when you stop believing them. Let no dark cloud out of your past obscure him from you, the light that is everything. For truth lies only in the present, and you will find it if you seek it there in the now. You have looked for it where it was not in the past and the future, and therefore have not found it. Learn then to seek it where it is, and it will dawn on your eyes to see. Your past was made in anger, and if you use it to attack the present, you will not see the freedom the present holds, the now with no past or future, which is the truth of you and your brother already. Everything else is a story in your mind you're believing, which is complete fiction. Chapter 16. In the holy instant, it is understood that the past is gone. And with its passing, the drive for vengeance has been uprooted and has disappeared. The stillness and the peace of now enfold you in perfect gentleness. Everything is gone except the truth. Know thyself. The now with no past or future. That is the truth of everything and everyone. Okay. So unless you understand what the problem is, as the Course says in the lesson, the problem of separateness is already resolved because there's no such thing as separateness. The problem of your suffering me is already resolved because you're not suffering me. But unless you know what the problem is, you can't have the answer. If you have the idea that no, the me isn't the problem, it's going to be miracle worker, it's going to be fabulous, it's going to be miracle worker. All right. If you don't know that the problem is the me, the self you made that's not the Son of God, you can't have the solution, which is what you really are. So this is really simple. The me is the only problem. Once I hacks itself to identify with thoughts and make up a story about what it is, an image of a penguin, now it now attacks the I everywhere to see it with stories and call it others. So that's the problem. That's separateness. That's the dream. It's not true. So the one problem, the Course says, is you deciding to be a me. And the one solution to all the problems you think you have, and the one problem to well, the one answer to everyone's problems is for you to remember I. The I that's everything, with no past or future. Those are stories. The mind is the matrix. The mind is the trickster. The mind is the dream master. The mind is Freddy Krueger spinning dream stories, and you go, oh, this is true. Yes, I'm a body. Yes, I have a past. Yes, I have a scary future. Yes, I've left heaven and I, the me, will return back to heaven to God. See, all those stories, none of which are true. The mind is the matrix. That's what the mind does. It just keeps spinning stories. But that's not you. That's not you. That has nothing to do with you. None of the mind stories are true. The Course says salvation can be seen as nothing more than the escape from concepts, stories. What you are is I am. Every time you say I am this, that's the dream. Me is I am this and you are that. That's the dream. That's not true. That's the wrong mind. That's the ego's world. I am this and you are that. That's the dream. Okay. So the answer to the dream is to remember the truth. You have to disidentify from the mind stories and come home to what's true. I am. So the acid test for the truth is you must be able to experience it directly in this moment without thinking, without a story from the mind, without concepts. That's the test of truth. So in this moment, what can you absolutely know? What can you directly experience as the truth of who you are right now without getting involved in thinking? What are you right now if thoughts can't say what you are? The only thing you know is I am. That is the only thing you know without the mind's lies. The only thing you can absolutely know and experience directly in this moment is I am. There is beingness. That is the only thing you know for certain. Everything else requires lies from the mind. The reason that I am is the only thing you know for certain in this moment is because it's the only thing that's true. Everything else is the dream. It's thoughts. It's identification with thoughts. It's believing thoughts, thinking they're your thoughts, that you're a penguin that thinks thoughts. There's no one thinking thoughts. You are, I am. You are I. That's the truth. That is what you are in the Holy Spirit, is I am. Full stop, period. I am. Nothing follows I am. If something follows I am to be an I am this, that's the dream. That's identification with thoughts to consider yourself a self concept, a penguin that's different than all the other penguins. right? All that's true is I am. That's all that's true right now. So here's the course's description of I am. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is, all concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you have ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. I am is coming with wholly empty hands unto your God. I am this, penguining, is coming with wholly full hands onto your ego and your dreams. Coming with wholly empty hands onto your God is knowing you are I am and nothing else. If you are I am, if you're not getting involved in the mind stories, if you're not getting involved in thinking, you are resting in God as I am. That was what last week's podcast was about. Coming with wholly empty hands onto your God, resting in God, not getting involved in thoughts. And now in the dream, there's your brothers. But if you're not getting involved in thoughts, can they be a different I am than you are without thinking? Without thinking, can I be a different I am than you are? Is that possible without thoughts? What can you directly know as the truth of what I am in this moment without thinking? Is it not the same thing you are when you directly experience what you are in this moment without thinking? It is the same I am. So if you go around going, I know I am, but you don't, right? Or you're not the I am that I am, okay? That's delusion. I am is only I am if it's the same everywhere. Otherwise, you're in the thought world, the ego's thought world. You're in the virtual reality simulation, the matrix, where you're a penguin. Not I am, you're a penguin. And your brother's a different penguin than you are. He's a holier one or an unholier one, but you're a penguin and he's a penguin and you're not the same penguin. That's the dream. But it's thoughts. When you come with wholly empty hands onto your God without any of your thoughts, you are I am, and so am I. It's the same I am, and so is everyone. Lesson 109. I rest in God. This thought will bring you to the rest and quiet, peace and stillness, and the safety and the happiness you seek. I rest in God. This thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you. The curriculum is Know Thyself. This thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you, whose vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone and everything there is. No penguins. One awareness as the truth of all the images of penguins. Here is the end of suffering for all the world and everyone who ever came and yet will come to linger for a while. Here is the thought in which the Son of God is born again to recognize himself. Know thyself. There is nothing else to know. There is nothing else to seek. Know what you are independent of stories about penguins. What are you without your story? The same thing everyone is. The unspeakable, the unthinkable. The I that is the truth of everything. Okay, the acid test for truth is, can I directly experience it in this moment without getting involved with thoughts, stories? Remember, salvation is nothing more than the escape from concepts. It's coming with wholly empty hands onto your God without any of your thoughts. It's resting in God so that what is here in the rest is the truth of everything. That's the holy instant. That's already here. You can be messing around with thoughts in your mind and making up stories, but that's not true. And the truth is already here, and you're it already. So, how do we practice A Course in Miracles? This is what's true. What's true is beingness. What's true is what I can directly experience as the truth of myself in this moment without attacking myself with thoughts about what I am. What am I without my story? What am I without thoughts that tell me anything whatsoever about me, all of which are false? What am I when I come with wholly empty hands without any of my thoughts to God? What am I when I'm storyless? It is I am, the I am that's everywhere, and it's already here. Everything else is stories. It's just your imagination. All that's true is I am. Okay, this is the truth. Now, to practice the course, you have to put this truth first. This has to be primary. There's still a whole dream happening. You're going to get up, you're going to dress yourself, you're going to have showers, you're going to go, you're going to do work, you're going to meet friends for coffees, you're going to raise kids, you're going to go visiting people, whatever the hell you're going to do, parties. Great. That's the dream. Do all that as usual. You must put the truth of I am first. This, the Course says the goal of God is lost in the quest for goals of any kind other than God. Our one goal has to be freedom. What is freedom from? Ego. What is ego? The belief in me. The penguin. The good penguin, the bad penguin, the good course student, the bad course student, the penguin that's trying to become an enlightened penguin. There's no penguin. Enlightenment is realizing there's no penguin. And the light was never absent. The penguin doesn't become enlightened. You stop believing in the penguin, and that's the light of awareness, which is everywhere. I am is primary. It is the truth everywhere. I am. So, number one for me is resting in God, is truth. is what I can validate by direct experience without getting involved with the wild illusion, frantic and distraught with no reality whatsoever, the thought world. I am is what's primary. Now, knowing what is primary, I have to confront my dreams. This is forgiveness. This is the shadow working process of A Course in Miracles. This is why the Course says your brother is your savior. Because of this, you have to confront your dreams. You dream of a separated ego and a world that rests on it. You cannot undo this by not changing your mind about it. So I get up in the morning and I remember what's primary. I am. That's what's true. Now I notice thoughts telling me a story about a row I had with my friend yesterday and what my friend says and what I said and what we should. And then I go, ha, all right, here's a dream. I have left God. I have left truth. I've abandoned truth. I've jumped into the thought world. I have made up a me and I've made up a you for my friend. And now I'm dreaming. I have gone back into dreams. I have now forgotten what's primary. There's only the I am that's everything. Of course, as in the holy instant, you would see no separation between you and anyone else and no difference between what you are. I have now abandoned the truth. I have gone into dreams. So, what I've now done is I have started to construct the dream. The dream always starts with I am a penguin. I am a me. I am a separate self. I'm a penguin. My brother is a different penguin. And he's a bad penguin because he did this bad thing on me as a penguin, and now and I'm all upset about it, and I need to stand up for myself as a penguin, and now I have to confront the dream. I have to go, aha, here is the dream. One problem, one solution to all problems, because it's all the same problem. The problem of separateness is already solved because it was never real. But here I am with a dream, a separateness dream, and I am this, and a he is that. An innocent victim and a guilty victimizer. A dream. All dreams are made out of the stories, the mind stories, none of which are true. I have to confront my dream. So, how do I confront my dream? The fact is, I've abandoned the truth. I've made up a dream world. I've gone into the dream world. I've made up a self. I have projected out a world. Remember, the first thing you do is make up a self for yourself. And then you make up a self for everyone else who are awareness. You make up selves for everyone else. Once you attack awareness here, you make up selves to attack awareness everywhere. So here I was, resting as awareness, knowing myself as what God is. And I threw it away and I went in and I made up a me and I projected out a world of others and I found someone who's guilty because of all the pain of me, the penguin. Now, the mistake people think is that, oh, I just need to go back to I am. No, you have to confront your dream. The fact is, yes, I am is the only truth, but you've gone into dream world. Now you're in dream world. Now you have to confront your dream. So you're going to go, okay, look what I've done. I have unresolved guilt in me has made me make up a self, abandon the truth, project out a world of penguins that are different than the penguin I am. And now I have narratives. I have stories about the good penguins and the bad penguins, and the suffering penguins and the ones that are healthy, and the victimizing penguins and the victimized penguins. All this is a dream. How do I know? Because I ask myself, what can I directly experience as the truth of this situation without thinking, without the wild illusion, frantic and distraught, with no reality whatsoever? The thinking mind. Either I've got sucked back into thought world, or I'm resting in God. Knowing what I am is what everyone is. But if a thought has sucked me in, if it had a hook and it pulled me back into thought world, and suddenly I made up a self, a story about who I am, and I make up a story about who my brother is, and I say, oh, he's the responsible one for how bad it is to be a penguin. Now I have to go, oh, look what I done. Look what I did. I went selfing, another egg. Okay. I left the truth. I went in and I made it. I'm going to have a dream that I'm a me and you're a you and you're the guilty one and I'm not. I'm the innocent victim. You're the guilty victimizer. Now, I don't look away from the dream. I confront it. I go, right, here's what I did. I have made up a me. I'm not seeing the awareness that's the truth of who I am. I've put a story here and called it the truth. And now I've put a story on my brother and called it the truth. And now I'm saying I am has been victimized and I am has done the victimizing. This is all a dream. None of this can be verified without thought. So it's not true. It's dreams. So now I go, right, what did I do? I made up a story of a me, and then I made up a story that people shouldn't behave like this. And then I imposed that story on my brother. And then when he did it, I decided it was personal and it was something to do with me. Now, let me go in and feel that. How does it feel to make up a self and a separated world that rests on it? What's here? Let me feel it. Wow. Look at this awfulness. Look at this sadness. Look at this inadequacy. When I chose to me, when I went in and went, no, no, I'm penguin, penguin in the world of penguins. Look what I did. And look at this belief then that I took on. What was that belief again? Yeah, and I believed this and I believed that. I'm a self. I'm a body. The body's fate is my body. What else am I believing here? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Like now, how does all that feel? I drop myself into the feeling. This is what it is when I self and other. This is what it is when I dream. Now, can I just let this be exactly as it is? Can I be with this with no judgment? So I use all the stories and the beliefs to get down to what does it feel like when I think I'm a penguin? And then can I meet these emotions without story? I don't need the story. I need the story. See, the problem is when your emotions come and I say meet your emotions without story, A lot of the times they vanish, but you haven't undone the belief you're a penguin. So as soon as you go back to selfing again, the pain will come back. So we need to learn to put ourselves, drop ourselves into the pain. So what is true is I am. And when you are in a dream, fighting yourself is ridiculous. What you want to do is you go, okay, what is true? What can I directly experience as true? Just being it. Okay, but look what I've done. I've gone with a dream in my mind instead of the truth. So let's follow it through. Yeah, I've decided I am a me, I am a body. People should do this, people shouldn't do this. They've done this. People have caused my upset. I should do something to protect the penguin that I think I am. That's my dream. Now, let me just drop myself into what does this feel like when I believe this? What does it feel like? Can I be with this feeling? Is this is the feeling of penguining. This is the feeling of meing. This is the feeling of believing thoughts, believing the mind stories, getting involved in thoughts. So can I be with this with no story? Now, the minute you meet the emotion with no story, there's no penguin. Remember, the me doesn't exist. It's a thought. It's a picture in your mind of what you think you are. It's not real. So when you meet emotion without thoughts, there cannot be a me. Because the me doesn't exist. It needs a story to pretend it's there. The story of the one who is sad, the story of the one who has been taken advantage of, the story of the one that needs to stand up for themselves. Well, if the story stops, all that's left is awareness. And so the pain of the me is brought to the I. Pain of the story is brought to storylessness. The illusion is brought to the truth. The wrong mind is brought to the right mind. The Course says now you're being shown you can escape. All that is necessary is that you look on the problem the way it is and not the way you're setting it up. You're setting it up that the penguin has had a very bad past and people have done very bad things to the penguin, and other penguins should behave differently towards this penguin because this penguin deserves more respect. And the Course is going, you've only got one problem, you're not a penguin. So the way you're setting it up is the terrible things that have happened to the penguin. And the Course is going, you've only one problem. You think you're a penguin. You think you're a story. Well, you're not. You're awareness. So that's what's true. I am. Beingness. That's what's true. Beingness. Doesn't mean there can't be thoughts. It means you're not believing them. Mind is going to tell its stories. That's what it does. It just spins stories, dreams. The mind just spins stories, 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 stories. That's what it does. Your job is not to believe the stories. And when you do, you have to confront your dream. If you believe a story, you're dreaming. Now you have to confront your dream. And that means, what is it I've just done? What beliefs have I taken on? The first belief is always, I'm a penguin. I'm a me. And now the stories build on top of that, and the beliefs build on top of that. I'm a me. They are they. They're the bad ones. I'm the good one. Blah. Now, oh, this is all a dream. So once you have abandoned reality for a dream, you got to confront your dream. Look what I've done. What is it I've believed? I've believed I'm a me. The one problem, the one problem, the problem that's already solved. I've decided I'm a me, even though there's no such thing as a penguin. Now, what's the rest of the story I'm telling myself? Oh, yeah, I'm believing this and I'm believing that. Okay. Can I just meet? Oh, let's go in and see what this feels like. So I've abandoned truth to imagine I'm a penguin. And now, was it worth it? Is there good feelings here? Am I feeling joy and peace? Is love and light and peace here when I decide I'm a me? No. What is here? Terror, self loathing, grievance, lack, inadequacy, hating myself, feeling like a failure. So what am I going to do? I'm going to drop myself straight into this emotion with no story about it. This is what it is when I me. Now, can I let this be exactly as it is? This is the pain of meing. Can I let it be exactly as it is? When you meet the pain of meing without the story of the one who is in pain and the story of what has caused the pain, instantly you're home to I am. You bring the pain to I am. And now you're going, oh, look what it is. It's real sadness. It's real grief. Has it anything to do with I am? No. But look at the grief of when I think I'm a me. Has it anything to do with I am? No, nothing whatsoever. But when I choose to be a me, look at all the pain that's there. What's there now? Sadness. Look at the terrible sadness there. When I believe I'm a me and that others are others and that people should do this and they shouldn't do that, what's the feeling that's there? Sadness. Sadness. Has it anything to do with I am? Nothing whatsoever. This is a dream. But look at the sadness when I make the dream real. Look at the sadness that's here. So can I be with this sadness without story? This is the sadness of when I decide I am a me, that I really am a penguin in a world of penguins. This is the pain of it. Can I be with that without story? Without the story, no more penguin because it doesn't exist. It's a story. Now, when you meet the emotion without the story, you come home to the truth of I am. You've confronted your dream. This is how we practice A Course in Miracles. You bring the darkness to the light. You bring the dream to the truth. You bring the mind stories to awareness. You bring the wrong mind to the right mind. That's our process. That's how you confront the dream. So you go through your day, and I am is what's primary, beingness. And then you watch. Watch when you get sucked into thoughts. When thoughts suck you in, and suddenly you're storying, and you're a me penguin, and there's other penguins, and they should never have said that, and the penguins pass, and the penguins, and then you go, hang on. Can I actually validate any of this as true in this moment without the mind's lies? Without thoughts? No. So I'm dreaming. This is all a dream. This is all constructed out of thoughts. None of it can be validated as true because it's not. But what is this dream? So, as always, this dream has started with I am a penguin. I am a me. I am a self that is not the Son of God. All right, so that's where it started. Now, what's this particular variation of the dream? I'm after believing this, I'm after believing that, I'm after believing this. Now, what does that feel like when I believe all this? Look at this feeling of being a me. I've abandoned truth for this dream, and look at how crap it feels. Now, can I be with the crap without a story about it? And without a story, there's no more penguin. There's only I am. You're back resting as awareness, resting in God, as I am. You are I am. If you meet emotions without a story, you cannot be an I am this without a story. This is the invitation of all pain. When you meet pain without a story, you can no longer be a story. And I am this. That's a story. Without a story, when you meet emotions without story, there can only be I am. I am is storylessness. I am is the nothing, the alive, aware, awake, non conceptually intelligent nothing, which is everything and everyone. And it's already here. And it's already the truth of everything and everyone, except in your imagination, you believe in penguins. So you have to confront your dream. And that's what forgiveness is. That's what shadow work is. Confronting your dream. All right. Anyone want to ask a question? No questions this week. I did enough talking for everyone. All right, Tanya, we'll take your question before you finish up. Before we finish up. So, my lovely assistant Eli will send you an invite to take yourself off mute. Go for it, Tanya.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, since no one was, I was like, well, I would just love to work with you a little bit. Maybe you could walk me through. I have a regular resentment towards family members and associated people with that. And I love what you said about, I think one step I'm missing is that I confront the dream because usually I'm trying to just escape it and then I get stuck again or more. So I think I'm still missing another step. So it's like a Pavlovian thing. I think of this person and I just immediately go into the story of how unfair and all of that it is.
What's
And
the
I
first story? What's the first story?
this my dad's girlfriend is domineering and
No,
sabotaging.
that's not the first story.
Oh, oh, the
What's the
me.
first story? The
Oh, the me.
first story is I'm a penguin and there's other penguins out there.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay.
You see, so instantly you're dreaming.
Right.
So the question is, in this moment, without thinking, can you find a problem?
No.
All right. Which means the problem is a dream.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so in this moment, lesson 8 says the one holy true thought we can hold about the past is it's not here.
Yes.
Thoughts about the past are here, but thoughts about the past don't make a past real. And it's not the past, it's just thoughts about a past.
Right.
The one holy true thought we can hold about the past is it's not here. As we got in the text quotes today, it said Stillness and the peace of now enfold you. Everything is gone but the truth. The truth is, I am. I am is now.
Yes.
Okay, so straight away, when we find ourselves suffering, we go, okay, is this a dream? Let's check. Can I experience the truth of this situation without thinking? And
I,
the
yeah.
answer is no.
Oh,
I've made up a me. I've made up others. All that's here is awareness. All that's here is I am. I've made up an I am this. I've made up an you are that. And I've made up a story about what is the cause of the pain of the I am this that I have made myself to be.
right.
So we must look at the problem the way it is and not the way we've set it up. So the way you've set it up is that I'm a penguin and I have a father penguin and
Yeah.
I have a mother-in-law penguin. And the mother-in-law penguin is a very bad penguin. And
Right.
she has made the penguin that I believe I am very sad and very angry. And the penguin that I am wants revenge on the other penguin. And the course is going, there's no penguins.
Yes.
There is only now. There is only I am. But you've gone into the dream and now you have to confront it. Now, all that is necessary is that you look at the problem the way it is. I have decided I am not the truth. I have gone into a dream. I have decided I'm a penguin, and the pain is appalling. And now I'm blaming the dream for how appalling it is to me instead of my decision to me.
Yes.
So the cause of your pain is not your mother in law. The cause of your pain is that you have made up a self for yourself, projected out a world of other penguins. And now the pain of that decision to make up a self for yourself is appalling. And all you can do is blame your dream.
Yes.
So you look at the problem the way it is. You confront the dream. You go, no, this is true. But what does it feel like when I make up a self for myself? When I consider myself a penguin, an image in my mind, I have a story about me, the unhappy me, the innocent victim, and I have a story about the other person, not an I am in sight, only story character penguins. I'm in the dream. Now, how does it feel when I do this?
Yeah. It feels like crap.
Yeah. So you go into all the beliefs that you've just entertained. The first belief is that I am a me. I am an I am this. That's the first belief. Every story builds on that one story. There cannot be a story without the penguin.
Yes.
So that's always where it starts. I have gone and decided I'm an ego.
Right.
Now, what are the beliefs I have now taken on board based on the belief that I am a me? I believe that other people should behave in certain ways, that
Mhm.
the me that I decide am, that it should be a certain way. I believe this, that now, can I just drop myself into those feelings?
Into the what? Sorry.
Drop yourself completely into the feeling.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But without, you use the stories to get to the feeling, then drop all the stories. Because the
Uh,
only reason this pain is here is because you need.
yes.
So now you go, look at the pain that's here when I'm me. Can I welcome it? Can I call this pain of meing towards me without the story? Without the story of the one who's in pain? Without the story of the evil stepmother? No, this is just the pain of meing.
Yes.
Can
Okay.
I be with this without story?
Uh,
Now,
yeah.
what's here when you allow this awfulness to be exactly as it is without story?
Yeah. It's like just awareness of noticing an awfulness, but it's not.
Yeah, now notice how you can go. Look at the awfulness of when I'm me. Has it anything to do with the awareness? No, it has nothing to do with awareness.
Yeah.
But look at the awfulness that's here when I'm me.
Right.
But has it anything to do with awareness? Nothing. But look at the awfulness that's here when I'm me.
Yes.
Now you've brought your wrong mind to your right mind. You've brought the dream to the truth of I am. You are bringing the darkness to the light. That's all it's asked. You don't fight the emotions. You don't push them away. You don't try to change them in from one thing into another thing. You don't try and turn bad emotions into good emotions. You meet the emotions of this moment. You confront your dream. This is the emotions of me in this moment. Can I be with them without story? The minute you do, you're back as I am. Meeting the pain of the meeting. Right. That's all this is about. This isn't about changing emotions.
Right.
This
Right.
isn't about changing bad emotions into happy, skippy emotions. This is
Yeah.
about knowing that what you are is untouched by any stories, emotions, feelings, or sensations. And the only way you can learn that is to meet emotions without the stories. You discover the eternal summer that's here in the midst of grief, that's here in the midst of sadness, that's here in the midst of happiness, that doesn't change whether there's a happiness emotion or a sadness emotion.
Yes.
This is non attachment. But non attachment doesn't mean that you never feel anything, it means
Right.
you're not attached to what feeling is present.
And you don't have a story about it.
Yeah. So that therefore there's no attachment. It's like, oh,
Right.
look at the sadness that's here when I believe that.
Uh-huh.
Look at the way I believed that. And now look at the sadness that's present. Can I just be with that without story?
Um,
Or says the other way is remaining quiet in the midst of the turmoil. That's how you become quiet in the midst of the turmoil. You go, oh, look, what is it after believing? I believed I was a me. There are other me's. People should do this. They should do that. Now, what does that feel like? Let me go in there and taste that.
yes.
Now let me be with this with that story. And let me discover that. Look, in the midst of this awfulness of when I'm me, does it have anything to do with the truth? And you taste the truth and you go, it has nothing to do with the truth. But look, in my madness, there's a part of me clinging to this. So
Right.
can I just be with this awfulness without the story?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So again, you would never ever try to do forgiveness on your mother-in-law because that's not the problem.
Right.
That's the
Right.
that's the problem the way you're setting it up. The
Yes.
actual problem is that you're meing.
Ah,
So you meet the pain of meing without story.
the pain of yes. Yes. Okay.
Now you've
Um,
confronted your thing. You've acknowledged what the problem is. I know what the problem is. I'm meing. All right, I've decided I'm better off on my own. you know, God can stick it. Not
right.
interested. I'm going to be a penguin. It's going to be fabulous. And then you go, okay, how does it feel when I believe I'm a penguin and I believe that other penguins should behave certain ways and they don't behave that way? Is
Yeah.
that fabulous? Is that fabulousness I'm sensing here in this situation? No, it's terror. It's inadequacy. Okay, can I drop myself into that feeling without the stories? It's how we confront the dream. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I swear, I'll make this quick. It's exactly the same thing I know, but it keeps nagging at me when the penguin is the United States government, and it makes fills me with fear and anger and rage and fury and all those
Okay,
things.
now, if you can any of that be a problem if you don't think about it?
No,
So is it truth or is it a dream?
it's a dream, but it seems like it's all around me all the time, almost
But the
always.
dream, that's what, yeah, but hang on. If you go to bed tonight and you dream that you're a munchkin in the land of Oz, Oz is all around you. It seems like it all around you. There's a
Right,
wicked witch, there's a wizard.
right,
All right.
right.
So you have to acknowledge the problem the way it is and not the way you're setting it up.
Yes, yes. I know it's exactly the same thing. I just
So the
really,
story of the problem of the politicians in the United States, that's a story. But what story came first?
it has to be the me story.
That there is a me that can have an opinion on this.
Right.
There is a me that can stand in judgment on this because there's a me that's separate from the world and not the same thing as the world. So now you go, right, what was it I believed? Let's confront my dream. All right, now let me just check. What can I actually validate as the truth in this moment without thinking? I am. Anything
Yes.
wrong in I am? Nothing.
No.
Ever any problems here in I am? Is there any lack in I am? Is there any past or future in I am? Is there any self in I am? No. All right. It's fab. It's great. Right. So that's what's true. Now let's do the acid test. All these problems, the United States and the problems, blah, blah, blah. Does any of this exist as a problem if I stop thinking?
Right. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
answer is no, it doesn't. Therefore, this is a dream. I am meing.
Yes. Yes.
So you would never try to do forgiveness on the United States. That's not the
Right.
problem. That's the world you've projected out. You have to do you have to do forgiveness on the actual problem, which is that you're meing.
Right.
You believe there's a one who is better than others, who can stand in judgment on the others. Everything is awareness.
Yeah.
There are no others except in your imagination. When
Right.
you leave I am to believe you're an I am this, a penguin, now you look out and you see a world full of penguins, but there's no penguins. There's only I am. I am is the Democrats and the Republicans. It's
Yeah.
the conservatives and the liberals. It's the rich ones and the poor ones. It's the criminals and the crime victims.
Yes.
All of it is I am. The same I am. The dream is that there's many where there's only one.
Right.
So when I say, what can I directly experience as true in this moment without thinking, I can go, oh, right, I is the truth. Now, what can I directly experience as the truth of the world without thinking? Only the same I. So the minute you're in a situation where there's other penguins that are good penguins and bad penguins and they should do this, you see, the minute you see victimized penguins, you've attacked them.
Yeah.
You've
Yes.
you've attacked awareness.
Oh God. Yeah.
But you wouldn't have done that except for the first story where you attacked yourself to be a penguin. So you always bring it back to what is the actual problem. And the problem is that the only thing that's true is I am, but you're believing a dream. So let's have the dream. Can I let this dream be exactly as it is? Look at what does it actually feel like when I go into dreams? Pretty crap. Let me just drop myself into that crap now without the story about governments and penguins that are victimizing and
Yes.
victimizing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let me just acknowledge what the problem is. I've gone into dreams. And can I be with this dream without a story?
Oh, you helped me get there. Thank you so much.
Good. Thanks, Tanya. All right, Virginia. Sure. Look at in for a penny, in for a pound. We'll let you ask your question before we finish up.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, thank you so much. I just love this practice that we're allowed or realizing. Um, and I'm reflecting back on when I was widowed and taking that grief that was so really deep for a long time. And, it's and taking this practice of going, okay, um, I'm not a penguin and I wasn't married to a penguin and he didn't die and my kids weren't affected by it and and all and I can feel presence. I'm a hospice nurse, so I understand how to be present with families and with patients and actually go into that so that we're not freaking out. Didn't change the grief that I
Now,
felt at the
now,
time.
now, going to stop you there because that's where you've gone wrong.
Okay, thank you.
This
Tell
isn't
me.
about changing grief.
Right.
That's not what this is about. This is about remembering what you are by meeting grief without the story.
Yes. So the story,
So nobody said anything about doing anything with grief. In fact, if you're trying to do anything, you're
yeah,
dreaming.
right.
So
Okay.
does presence need to do something to be itself?
No,
If presence is what you are, how many kilometers is there between you and presence?
none, zero.
So
Right.
how much doing and traveling and trying to work stuff out and changing emotions and thoughts around do you need to do to be what you already are?
You just have to be.
The way that you be is you let all things be exactly as they are.
Yes.
Right now, instead of knowing presence, I am being. Fine. Let me confront my dream. When I believe I'm a me, when I leave the presence that is the truth of what everyone is with me and all is well, and go into the dream that I am an I, that there is a world of death, it is a dream of death. But when I imagine ghosts, ghost penguins inside all the bodies that are coming and going and shifting and changing, so that's all in my mind because everyone is present moment presence. Presence is the only truth of everything and everyone. Now, so if I'm dreaming, if I've gone into my thought world and I'm constructing, I've made up a self, I've projected out a world of different penguins than I am, fine. I confront it. I don't spiritually bypass it. I don't go, oh, let's go back to presence and pretend this isn't here. No, you have to confront the fact that you went into dreams. Why? And what is the cost? So you go, this is what happens when me, and then I see my husband, who is I am, as a body, and then I believe that the fate of the body was his fate, and that he's a different I am than I am. Now, can I let all this be exactly as it is?
Mm.
Now, you will not get back to presence if you're trying to get rid of grief.
Was trying to
Because,
feel better.
because you can't get back to presence if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to work something out with thoughts, these are all dreams. If you're trying to control something, or if you're trying to turn one thing into another thing, these are all dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So no one said your job is to be in there trying to change feelings. No one said that. Your job is, can I be with these feelings without a story?
Mm-hmm.
So the course says that your brother is your savior. In this sense, your husband, who is I am, is your savior because you're projecting, you've made up a self, so you're projecting a self onto him, and the actual cause of your grief is the loss of presence, God.
Mm-hmm.
But now what you do, because you have made up a self and projected out a world, now you'll go, it's because of the other image that died that the image that I am is grieving.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. That's projection. The
Mm-hmm.
reason for the upset is because you need. But we don't fight ourselves. We say, what's the actual problem here? So, first of all, that whole situation, I am a me, I married a him, the him died, it was terrible. Now, in this moment, can you validate any of that without thinking?
No.
Therefore, it's a dream.
Yes.
So, if it's a dream, then I go, right, I have gone into dreamland. Let's have it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's confront the dream. What have I done? I've made up a self for myself. I've made up a self for the I am that is my husband. I'm saying that's the cause of the pain, but I know the real cause is I'm not knowing I am is the truth of everything. I'm in a dream. So I've me'd. So now, can I just let the whole dream be exactly as it is?
when you can't help it.
Well, yes, but there is no you that can help it. That you doesn't exist. There is absolutely no control over anything. There is no control over thoughts. You've no control over your thoughts. You've no control over emotions.
Right.
No, because there is no you to control. Because all that's here is I am. So we have to let go of the idea that there's something you should be controlling, because
Yeah.
that just reifies an imaginary ego that
Yeah.
wants to control emotions. All this is about is letting go of any need for control.
Yeah. Yeah. It was feeling like you get so thrown into it, you can't.
No, but you see, when you say you can't, you're
Right.
still caught thinking there's something you should be doing.
That's what
But
I'm
all you're
hearing.
meant to do is let go completely and let all things be exactly as they are.
Yeah. Which, yeah, took a long time. And now I mean, we all go through this at some point in our lives. Oh,
We do, and it's important to say that. But in this moment, is that true without thinking?
no,
Okay, so what is true in this moment?
I am.
Yeah, just the peace of God.
Yeah.
All is well. This is the truth of all the images. There's no ghosts in the images. There's just this, which is the truth of everything and everyone, and all is well.
Yeah.
That's what's true. The first thing I have to do is know this is what's true. Now I acknowledge that I am has pockets of itself that don't recognize itself. So now
Mm.
my empathy for my brothers is not, oh, they're a very unhappy penguin, because they've had very bad things happen to them as a penguin and they're very traumatized as a penguin and it should never have happened to them as a penguin. That's false empathy.
Mhm.
True empathy is when I come home to the truth, the peace of God. And now my empathy for others is that they think they're a penguin.
Mhm.
That's true empathy.
Mhm.
They are meing. That's
I'd
the
like
empathy that's true.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's just finish. Thanks for that question. That was beautiful. Thank you very much, Virginia. Let me let's finish with lesson 185. Let's say I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If I mean I want the peace of God, then this comes first. This comes first. Truth comes first, and I will confront my dream in order that truth comes first in everything. So we'll skip down a few paragraphs. To mean you want the peace of God is to renounce all dreams. For no one means these words who wants illusions, and who therefore seeks the means which bring illusions. He has looked on them and found them wanting. Now he seeks to go beyond them, recognizing that another dream would offer nothing more than all the others. So, okay, I'm dreaming I'm a sick penguin. And now I want a different dream where I'm a penguin that's not sick. Problem is, I think I'm a penguin. I think I can be sick and I think I can be well. But that me doesn't exist. I'm meing, and nothing will make the pain stop. This isn't about thinking you're a sick penguin and doing some kind of magic work to become a healthy penguin. That's dreaming. That's not wanting the peace of God. That's wanting dreams. You want to stay a penguin. He has looked on them and found them wanting. Now he seeks to go beyond them, recognizing that another dream, a happy penguin or an unhappy penguin, a sick penguin or a healthy penguin, a young penguin or an old penguin, a penguin with lots of friends or no friends, a penguin that's single or a penguin that's in a relationship. Know that another dream would offer nothing more than all the others, as it still sucks to be a penguin. Dreams are one to him who wants the peace of God. And he has learned their only difference is one of form. For one will bring the same despair and misery as do the rest. The mind which means that all it wants is peace must join with other minds, for that is how peace is obtained. Which means you stop identifying as a penguin in a world full of penguins, and you come home to the truth of I am, the I am that's everyone already, except in your imagination. So, hope you got something useful out of this week. Thank you very much for your attention, everyone. We will catch up in the Facebook group during the week. If you enjoyed the episode or the channel, then please drop a subscribe and a like. That helps us get the word out there. We will not have a meeting or a podcast episode next week because I'm going to take my own spiritual time out for a silent retreat, but we will return the following week. So more details to be released. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye.